What up, bitches? It's a misanthropic one, aka He Who Hungers, and I'm back up in this bitch for another rant. Wow, it's been a crazy last couple of days, man. I want to talk about this whole, uh, I want to say AOTP, but I'm not going to include all of AOTP in it because I don't know what's going on in the cut or in the background. I'm going to say the King Magnetic and Dope Nixon releasing their diss tracks. So versus Vinnie Paz. Now these are all guys that I've loved for years. Love their music, all three of them. King Magnetic released his track called "Be Quiet" a couple days ago, and I was on Instagram and I saw he was posting these memes with like Patton Oswalt, essentially, trying to clown Vinnie Paz, saying that he looks like him, I guess, and he was posting just lines which I found out later were part of his song "Be Quiet," and I saw one of the hashtags Vinnie Paz diss. So I'm like, what the fuck? What's going on? Um, so I went on his stories, on Instagram. They have the stories. And by the way, I would be showing some of this stuff, but OBS is being an asshole to me. So I'm just going to do this raw. So anyway, I went, heard the track once. I know he has it up now. But track was hard. King Magnetic, he's another one that gets dope beats. So track went in. But I got to admit, he was being kind of vague in the beginning because people were like, what the fuck is going on? And he would give kind of vague answers. And shout out to King Magnetic. Love you, bro. You're one of the realest dudes because, like, you'll actually message me and shit. And we've had conversations and shit. So love you for that. Again, love Vinnie Paz. He follows me on Twitter as well. Been a fan of Paz for years, and I gotta be honest, if it wasn't for Paz, I wouldn't have known about King Magnetic or Dope Nixon. All right, so I don't really want to take sides in this because I love these guys. Um, so he put the diss out, and at first I was like, "Yo, what the fuck is going on in the background and shit?" I from what I remember about the song and shit that he mentioned, he was talking about being threatened by Paz and mentioning him stealing bars and hooks and what else did he mention? Something about one of his man's fucking trannies and shit, and that's in reference to allegedly that's in reference to King Size. And shout out to King Size, by the way. I first heard about this from my man, what's the dude's name? Drew Dollars. Um, he posted something and he was like, yeah, something about King Size fucking trannies. And I'm like, what the fuck are you talking about? Like, hey, listen, that's alleged. I'm not saying it. I'm just saying where I heard it. And then, it was someone else brought it up on Instagram as well when King Magnetic put up the meme. So listen, I'm just saying, don't shoot the messenger. All right. So I found this on Facebook right here that King Magnetic put up. He says, "Someone let Just Allah, someone let Just Allah know he can make songs instead of cry and lie." And I'll get to Just Allah in a little bit. Um, says, as King Mag tells it, everything started in '09 with petty internal back and forth and was squashed almost 5 years ago. I caught Paz in a show in Albuquerque. We sat down, talked about things, and both agreed to stop the bullshit. I let him know I had this song in the tuck and had no plans of releasing it if his nonsense stopped. The breaking point came last year when Paz threatened to remove lyrics and track contribution from Doap Nixon, Sour Diesel 2, unless Dope removed King Magnetic's verse from the project. Mag couldn't stand the pettiness any longer and dug up the diss record for the public to hear. So, I mean, that would make sense now because I just stumbled upon this just today. All right. So in between me not knowing this, Dope Nixon released his diss track I think a day later called Leg Shot. This one compared to King Magnetics, the production quality was a little bit under King Magnetics. I think the bars went hard. Again, I like Dope Nixon, but I will say this because he was basically saying Vinnie Paz is MAGA. You know how I feel about that. I know a lot of MAGA dudes. I chill with them, chill with some of them. I talk to some of them. Some of them are really cool dudes. So I mean, that whole, when people use that as a pejorative nowadays, that to me is kind of weak. It got to be deeper than that if you're gonna insult someone. Because that's too easy now. That's like, to me, I've said this 1,000 times on my channel. That's like racist nowadays. People just throw racist out when it doesn't mean anything. You know what I mean? But that's no shade thrown at Dope Nixon. That's just how I feel internally. You know what I mean? So, yeah. But the bars were hard. Dope Nixon brings it. As far as, well, let me get to Just a Lie and shit. So, I had to see what other people were saying about it, as far as people that were associated with AOTP or whatever. Just a Lie, he had a lot to say. Him, he was talking about, he's kind of, and shout out to Just a Lie as well. He knows what's up. He was just basically saying, yo, I told you niggas, this and that. Why the fuck, yeah, it's all facts. What King Magnetic is saying, but why you dick riding him for X amount of years if you knew the truth, and blah, 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 blah. And then Chief Kamachi chimed in a little bit as well. Reef the Lost Cause. My man was taking the high road. He's like, yo, I'm not. He was jumping on one of a trampoline, a bouncy, one of those not bouncy houses, like those indoor like shit for kids. Like he was bouncing, showing like he's like, yo, I ain't got time for the back and forth. And that is where that's a good segue that leads me into Vinnie Paz. Will he respond? For those that know Vinnie Paz, he probably won't do a full song doing this because over the years, there's been a bunch of people that took shots at him, and he's not going to dedicate a full song to responding. That's not his style. He may throw like a bar or two, like he did on The Thief and the Fallen towards Just a Lie, but he's not going to dedicate a full song. At least I don't think so. He may surprise me, or us, I should say. But I don't think he's going to dedicate a full fucking song to dissing these dudes back. And, and I got to admit, that is kind of tough, You got two in your camp, and some people are speculating even more. I've even heard rumors of outer space saying shit. I'm like, listen, I'm not even going to jump into that, because that's going to be bad if that's four people at once. But yeah, I just want to bring this to y'all because it's a crazy situation. It really is. And oh yeah, on top of that, Vinnie Paz just dropped his album, As Above, So Below. Love the single. It's called I Am the Chaos, I believe. I think it's rocking. Definitely banger. Definitely is a banger. But damn, dude, Vinnie Paz been getting it bad, bro. I gotta admit, like, because I forgot, my man A-Preem last year released a diss. I kind of talked about it. I forget what video it was. My man A-Preem released a diss last year called Face Value. I don't know. I want to see what happens. Shout out to Paz. I don't know if he's gonna respond or not. That's just me though. Again, I love all these guys that are involved. Been a fan of y'all for years. I hope it gets hashed out, whatever the fuck it is. But those are my thoughts. I don't want to ramble on and on and on. We'll see what happens. All right, everybody else, y'all know the deal. Leave your love, leave your hate. Most of all, subscribe. Follow me on BitChute and Brighteon. I'll leave the links down there, all right? And I know I got some reviews to get to. I got you. Peace, bitches.